Alright, here we are at the Dres mission, and it's approaching a maneuver node, and this is a plane change burn to get in line with Dres. So let's go ahead and have that up, and we're already on the maneuver node. So oh fudge. Alright, I hit a numeric keypad key, and I forgot that in this screen, numeric keypad keys change the maneuver node. I hit 5, that's just decrement prograde. To increment by the same amount, hit 8. There. Okay, here we go. So we're coming up on the burn. We're in position. So let's time warp a little closer. And I'm going to do the burn. And most of what I'm going to be watching is not the maneuver so much as the relative inclination. The idea will be to get that number as low as possible. Hit the wrong key there. Did not mean to flash the thing. And let's burn. Make sure we are burning. Okay. All right. Just going to burn this relative inclination down as close to 0 as I can. And then when we get closer, we can set up another maneuver to bring that closest approach down. Relative inclination is coming down. Okay, it got to 0.04 and went back up to 0.05. That's good. All right, kill that. And let's see. Apparently I got another maneuver planned out here in 25 days that will result in a Dres encounter in 244 days. All right, so we're good there. And now, let us switch back to the ARM-2 WPK 765. All right, here we are. Now, this ship is out here. It's a couple of days out from apoapsis. And technically, I suppose I should wait. But what I want to do here is I want to raise this periapsis up. Let's see, how are we pointed here? All right, let's see if we can get it back onto prograde without too much pain. I'll turn this off. It's moving. We'll see how much we can get away with here. All right, that's it. Oh, come on, come on. Get lined up. Yeah, it's wobbling all over the place. Just get it lined up with the prograde marker. A little bit more fine-tuning here. Bump the time warp. All right, that's about as close as we're going to get, it looks like. So I'm going to take that as being enough. And I'm going to thrust, low minimum thrust, to bring that periapsis up to about 50 kilometers or so. I do want to do another aerobraking pass, but I don't want it to be as severe as this last one. Bring the periapsis up about 50-ish or a little more. Good, right there. All right. Smart ASS off. Turn that display off. Okay. Now, it should just be a matter of just ride this thing through. Let's see. Yeah, 2 days is apoapsis, 21 days for the next thing on sundiver recovery. Okay, so let's go ahead. Do us a bit of time warp. And of course, it's, yeah, delete on close, and then let's time warp down towards periapsis. Get in here fairly close. Switch to the external view. Kerbin should be visible. There it is, I think. That might be the moon. I don't know. We'll find out as we get closer. Okay, we're right now pointed retrograde, so... Ah, here's Kerbin. All right. Here we go. Coming in over the South Pole, as before. Periapsis projection, 53 kilometers. We should get a good amount of braking out of this. Bring our apoapsis down to something a lot more reasonable. And get this thing that much closer to being in a parking orbit. Okay, we have the "you're not in space anymore" thing going on, technically. I don't expect we'll see a whole lot in the way of the heating effect, the visual heating effects and so on, this time. But the apoapsis is coming down. I wonder if I can talk this thing into going retrograde. Turn that off. Do it manually. I don't want this thing to go completely nutso. How much RCS fuel do we have? Okay, let's use that. I don't think that's going to do too much of a difference. At least not quickly. And if the first try is any indication, it's going to want to put the ship behind the asteroid. I'm thinking if I can get the ship, get the whole mess facing retrograde, then I can use the ship's engines to help slow down. All right. Retrograde. without drinking gallons of RCS juice. Just use the reaction wheels. We've passed periapsis anyway. We're on the way back up. Alright, next time at apoapsis, we'll set the periapsis to something up out of the atmosphere and just get in position to do a plain old-fashioned regular burn to reduce apoapsis. Get this thing into, say, about a 200 kilometers roughly circular orbit. That should make it reasonably accessible for manned missions to come up here and take samples. Alright, I'm just going to let it ride till it gets back up to apoapsis again. I'll set an alarm for that and we'll catch you there. Alright, about 3.5 hours out from periapsis, from the apoapsis, and I've already gone ahead and set up a maneuver. 9 meters per second. We'll change the periapsis out to 208 kilometers, and then from there we can bring the apoapsis down. And now, here's the fun part, is I get to release the docking clamp and back away after I turn the RCS on. Get clear of it, get lined up with the maneuver node, and then maneuver as needed to redock aligned with maneuver node and center of mass. Based on experience, that'll take me about half an hour or so to do, so I'll come back when it's done. Okay, almost time to dock. The lights just hit the asteroid. We're lined up with our maneuver and our center of mass, so everything will be cool. Looking good. And we have grabbage. Center of mass seems to have shifted a little bit on grabbing, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Now, let's get around to the maneuver time. Okay, this should be a very short burn. Yes, delete. Get out of my way. Bring this up so we can see what we're doing. Alright, now, a nice gentle burn. We want periapsis at 200 kilometers. And again, the maneuver node is mostly a guide, because it was programmed for 208. And I'd rather stop right at 200 if I can. Close enough. Close enough. Get rid of the maneuver. All right. Now let's plot another one. Down here at the periapsis. Snapped periapsis. And what is it going to take for some good orbit circularization around 200 kilometers? surprisingly little. Alright, it's got 379 apoapsis, 205, for a grand total of 822 meters per second. Alright, set the alarm. 3-minute, 25-second burn at full thrust, so I'm going to give it about a 5-minute warning, and we'll go for that because I think going a full thrust burn would be a mistake. Alright, let's go ahead and time warp down there. Alright, delete on close. Okay, looks good. We're going to go ahead and start burning right now. Get this apoapsis down to somewhere close to 200. Let's see if I can get 2 notches of thrust. We don't seem to have any wobble or spin going on, so I'm not going to put any more thrust on it than this right now. I think this is going to be just nicely enough. Alright, we've reached a point here where apoapsis has been brought down to 1,190 kilometers. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the burn now because we're already almost 5 minutes past the periapsis and we're losing efficiency. So we'll go ahead and set up a new maneuver to do it again on the next periapsis. And it should require a whole lot less to finish bringing that down to 200 kilometers. Yeah. 200 by 203. That will do. So we'll go ahead and set that alarm. Cruise around, and sometime over here just before we get towards periapsis, I'll make sure we're still locked in on the maneuver node. It looks like we're going to be. And this thing is just about in a good circular-ish orbit. At least it should be after this burn. Now, granted, the inclination is still going to be way up there, but that's fine. It's just going to be a matter of get the Space Center under the orbit, or almost under the orbit, and then launch on a south heading. Okay, node is in 7 minutes, just about. Get a little closer. Get down to about 2.5 to 3 minutes out from maneuver node. And then again engage in another slow, low thrust burn. maneuver node and whatnot is assuming a full thrust burn, but I know better. It will wobble all over the place. All right, 2.5 minutes out. Let us commence to bringing this orbit down. And I think that's about as much thrust as I dare put on this, so we'll be back when it's done. All right. We're now 3.5 minutes past the periapsis, so we're going to go ahead and do one more pass. And this should be enough to finalize it. Okay. That looks like it'll be sufficient for what we want. All right. Let's get it lined up on the node. RCS off. Turn that stuff off. Okay, I was going to try to use it. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Turn that off. I was going to try to use a little burst of time warp to stop it from that flailing around. All right, now let's get on the maneuver node. We're really close. I'm going to call that close enough. And we'll swing around for one more pass. Apoapsis is now down around 400 kilometers, or a little bit less. 416, okay. And we'll get around here. We'll start burning about 3 minutes before until 3 minutes after, or until we've got what we want. Okay. SAS on. Minimum thrust burn. And bring this number down to 200. We'll be back. Okay. Down here at 240 kilometer orbit on the periapsis. Periapsis 195, apoapsis 238 or 239, right around in there. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. So let us disconnect from this thing. Release. And let's back away from it. And that is a reasonable orbit, 240 by 195. It's not exactly circular. Perhaps a future mission can adjust it. But I think that this ship has done all it's going to. And so, let's go ahead and turn it retrograde and get it out of here. And our next mission to this rock will be manned. All right, let's get out of the way of this thing. Get a little clear of it. All right, that should do it. And burn retrograde. Well, after I get back into staging mode. burn our periapsis down, and send this automated ship back down. Get it out of there. I had never released those, and I should have. Okay. Those pieces will come down on their own. Turn that off. Turn that off. All right, let's just ride this thing down. And our next trip up here can be manned. And you may have noticed that the really beautiful pre-clouds and whatnot are gone. I removed that because I think it was just pushing things a little too far for the condition my system is in. So I took them out temporarily. I get back into a situation where I can get away with that, then I'll put it back in because it did look really good. Looks like this thing's going to come down in the ocean. Yep. Definitely coming down in the ocean. All right, good. Just in time to see a little bit of fireworks here. I'm surprised that nothing exploded. Well, aside from the solar panels, of course. And here we go. Hit the ocean at about Mach 1.2 or so. Guesstimating, I don't know, but fast enough. All right. And now for a manned vehicle to get some science out of this thing.